In this video, we're going to be looking at something a bit different, the VTech Kidizoom Duo Camera, and review whether it's a good first choice camera for kids. The reason why we're looking at this camera is my 3-year-old has seen me using one of my cameras and has wanted to play with it. So rather than lend them something complicated and fragile, I thought getting one designed especially for kids, which is robust and easy to use, would be a sensible idea. The VTech Kidizoom Duo Camera costs around £40 or $50, so is pretty budget friendly, and the specs do reflect this low cost. It has a 2.4-inch TFT colour screen, a 5 megapixel front-facing camera with a resolution of 1600 by 1200 pixels, and a rear-facing camera with a resolution of 640 by 480 pixels. There is 256 megabytes of memory built in, but that is shared with the system data, so there really isn't that much space on the camera for taking photos. This means that you need a micro SD memory card, which unfortunately does not come with this camera. And you will almost definitely need one, as the internal storage doesn't last long when taking photos and video. It has a 4x digital zoom and is available in 2 colours, which are pink and blue. The camera's dimensions are 4 by 11.4 by 8.5 centimetres, and it weighs 200 grams, so certainly not too big for little hands. And it does require 4 AA batteries, which don't come with the camera. So let's take a closer look at the camera, how to use the menus, and what features it has. So taking a close look at the camera, you can see that it is made out of plastic and it has rubberized grips on the sides, and basically all the orange sections are rubber. Side panels are actually where the 4 batteries live, 2 on each side. This isn't amazing because it does mean that if an older child gets hold of it, they might be able to open those battery compartments, though they are quite hard to open. So all the buttons are on the back, and the power button here turns it on, and you can see that 2.4-inch screen turning on. It's quite slow to power up, but once it's open, it's pretty clear, if not the best resolution. This button here on the front right-hand side is the shutter button. And the button on the opposite side swaps between the front-facing and the rear-facing camera. Here I am. This control stick does lots of different things. Press up to toggle the flash, and down to toggle a timer, which by default is for 10 seconds. Press the right-hand side button and it automatically goes to the stickers which are built in. These are all just different frames and stickers that kids would probably find quite amusing. Mostly for going over people's faces, as you can see. These ones are quite fun as they morph the style of the picture. As you can see, there's loads of different options here to keep kids entertained. So the home button takes you to the menu, where you can see a few different options that are built into the camera. So there's camera, and the second option is you and me camera. When you open that, it gives you different frames where you can take multiple shots to fill in with different images. The next option is the video recording option. Now, the quality of the videos are really bad. I'll show a quick example now. But for toddlers, they won't mind, they'll just enjoy being able to take their own little videos, so it's nice to have that option built in. Next one is a voice recorder, which does exactly what you expect, just records a very low bitrate MP3. Under creative tools, there's a photo editor and silly face detector. They're the only options on there. I don't know how it detects a silly face, but it seems to be able to detect a face just about. On the photo editor, you can choose a photo from your library to be edited, and then you can add things like the stickers and filters and stuff that were on the other option. There's also a face library that should automatically detect faces after you've added them to here. I don't really see the point in this section. Maybe it would be fun for your child though. And then settings means that you can just change some things like the wallpaper. It's in the background of the menu. You can check how much storage space there is. So that's the amount that there is when I've got my memory card in. You can change things like the resolution and light frequency. The light frequency is quite useful because on 60 Hertz in the UK anyway, you'll get flickering on your videos if you have it on 60 Hertz. So you want to change that to 50 in the UK and 60 in the US. Language settings and now parental controls is quite a useful tool to have. So you have to hold down star for 3 seconds to get into the parental controls. And then once you have done that, you'll get a small maths problem, which older children would be able to solve, but for 3-year-olds probably unlikely, which means that you can get options like disable games. Now, I've not shown you the games on here, and I'm not going to because they are, well, basically rubbish little games that I think have no place on a camera like this. If you end up giving them this camera with the games enabled, the kids are probably going to end up just playing games instead of using it as a camera. If I wanted them to play games, they could have a games console or something like that. So I personally would recommend disabling the games. Then you know that they're just going to be using it as a camera instead of sat playing games on it. So there's also a digital 4x zoom, as you can see here. It's not an optical zoom, so as you zoom in, it will get more pixelated. And there is an example of the flash. It's just a small LED light on the front. It only flashes for a second. It's not particularly bright. This button here is the volume control. That's just for the menus and stuff. So I'd probably recommend turning that down to 0 because a noise every time you move the menu is a bit annoying. And finally, the left-hand button at the bottom is the gallery mode, where you can have a look at all the photos you've already taken. Powering the camera off takes about as long as powering it on does. So that is most of the function of the Kidizoom Duo. There's also this wrist strap that comes in the box as well to make it a little bit easier to carry. And now here are some example photos and videos from this camera, most of which were taken by my 3-year-old, so are a good example of the quality of shot that you will get on average. So overall you can see the quality of the photos is not particularly great, but that's not really what this camera is all about. The camera can be dropped, spilt water on, type of things that kids do, and it will still work fine. You don't have to be worried about them breaking it. So you can give them the freedom to carry it around where they like, which is a great experience for them, makes them feel more grown up. So of course there are cheap cameras aimed at children that have much better quality sensors, way more than 5 megapixels, which will take better photos. But most of them are aimed at children a little bit older, probably between the ages of 5 and 10. If you really want a camera for your toddler, then this is a great option, even though the quality isn't that high. Realistically, your child is just going to be happy to have something to play with which is all theirs, rather than something that they might potentially break. And with the built-in features like the frames and funny filters, it makes it engaging for younger kids and gives them a first fun step into photography. Though some things that I don't like about it are that it's battery powered and that the camera can't be recharged. You're always using 4 new AA batteries every time it runs out of battery power. Also, the small amount of internal storage, meaning you'll need a separate micro SD card, does mean that you're spending more money straight away to be able to use this camera properly, as that memory just does not last very long. So, in conclusion, for a child aged between probably 2 and 5, the VTech Kidizoom Duo is a great option. So this video has been a little bit different, but if you've enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel and dropping a like on the video. But until next time, see ya.